Hot Stanley, Jordo, Stanley, Jordo. Excuse me with your car alarm. Can you guys hear the club music this guy upstairs is playing at 10 in the morning? Is that necessary? Is it necessary to play club music at 10 in the morning on a Saturday? No, it's not. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and today I'm gonna teach you how I get my very natural looking faux freckles. I have not tried this trend, but I've always admired it. So I decided to try my hand at it yesterday because I saw Sam Chapman posted a picture like maybe a week ago, something like that. And I was like, you know what? I wanna give it a try, and I fell in love with it. These are the type of faux freckles where if you see your friends, they probably won't even notice that you have faux freckles on because they're that natural, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and keep watching. All right, so if you're interested in seeing this base makeup, this is my like 5-minute get ready super quick in the morning, especially if you have like Zoom meetings these days type of makeup look. I will link that down below. That should be up before this video, I think it will, but this is the easiest makeup look in the world, which is why I think it kind of complements the faux freckles. It's very natural looking. So I am gonna add a couple things before we get into the faux freckles first. So gonna tuck this hair behind the ear. I'm gonna grab my Milani Silky Matte Sun-Kissed bronzer, and I'm gonna grab my Wet n Wild bronzer brush. This is from the Fire Dragon, Ice Dragon collection. And I'm very lightly, I'm gonna tap into the product and then tap on the back of my hand. I need an up close mirror to do this because you don't wanna go overboard. That's the whole key here. You wanna go very lightly, build slowly. So I do have cream bronzer and cream blush on right now, but I am gonna add just a little bit of powder right over, so very lightly holding at the end of my brush so I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I'm just gonna hit those areas where the sun would naturally hit. Every time I dip, I'm tapping off so I don't go in too heavy. I really like the Milani bronzer for this as well because it's very natural looking. It's not too orangey. I mean, obviously we all have different skin tones, so it's gonna depend on like what works for you. I have a little itch on my nose there, but I'm just gonna kind of hit the areas where the sun would naturally hit and where your freckles would pop out, not pop off. So that's kind of like this shape right here. Had to put the hair up in a pony. It was getting in the way. I'm also gonna hit those like high points of the forehead, but nothing too crazy, just very lightly. And we can always go in and add more later. I'm also gonna do the same thing with blush. So I'm grabbing my Milani Tea Rose blush and this Japanesque 722 brush, very lightly dipping in there. And then I'm just gonna kind of intensify my blush a little bit, but not too crazy. Again, keep it really nice and natural here. I'm gonna take that on the nose, just very lightly. Don't go in with a lot of product. You can always build, you can't take away. I mean, you could, but then you'd have to add some more product, and we're too lazy for that. Can you guys hear George snoring? I'm sorry if that irritates you throughout this video, but it's so cute, and hopefully you won't hear it too much. I'm probably gonna put some background music anyway to kind of counteract Mr. Upstairs club music. But let's go in with the star of the show now that we have a little more bronzer and a little more blush on. This is the Milani Precision Brow in soft brown. This, for my skin tone, complements like any kind of freckle situation perfectly. Now, obviously that's gonna depend on your skin tone, but if you are around my skin tone, try this. And I think eyebrow products are the absolute best way to go here because they're just not extremely pigmented. If you're going in with an eyeliner, it can get really intense really quickly. So if you want more natural looking freckles, just take an eyebrow pencil, and literally all I'm gonna do is first kind of work it on the back of my hand to kind of warm up the product a little bit. You can even like take a little hair dryer to it if you wanted to kind of warm it up, but I'm gonna just press. I'll show you like right here. Let me zoom you in actually. Actually, are you close enough? Nah, let me zoom you in. All right, that's as close actually as I can zoom in. So I'm just gonna do little twists all over the face. And every time like I do a little, you know, cluster, I'll press in just so it looks even more natural. And you're gonna wanna make some bigger ones and some smaller ones. So they do not need to be perfect. Like I'll even take like a little tiny line to make it look not so perfect, and I'll intensify anything I have. So that's obviously a real mole, and I'm just gonna intensify that. So I'm just gonna go around, kind of light pressure in some areas, heavier pressure in other areas. And I'm mainly focusing on the cheeks to start, because obviously that's where the sun is gonna hit. I hope you guys can see it on camera. You know, let me up, I'm using natural light here because you guys know I love natural light, but I think that lighting might be a little bit better. I just upped the f-stop or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing with the camera, to be honest, but I'm just gonna go around and I'm taking it under the eyes. I'm not trying to go in any pattern here. I would Google a picture of freckles if you wanted to kind of like see, you know, a reference photo. That might help. I like to take them up on the brow here. My two friends have lots of freckles on their brow. I'll take it onto the eyelid. I have no eye product on today, so it's not gonna mess with anything. And then just go around and continue to swirl and make larger freckles and smaller freckles, and then just pat it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up since you guys get the idea, and you will see the end result. Oh, before I do that though, so I have like telangiectasia on my nose, so I'll kind of like cover that. There's Theo. I'll kind of cover that with a freckle as well. So if you've got any breakouts or anything like that, this is the perfect time to cover them. And I love to put one like right on the border of my lip line. Ugh, I love it. So notice as I move up on my forehead, I'm gonna kind of keep them clustered in one area, and I like to make it not so perfect. So like I've got a bigger cluster over here, less over here, and then I'm just gonna take a couple up onto like the forehead area, since that's, you know, usually covered if you're in the sun. Oopsie, that was a little too big. And this is the beauty of using a product like this. You can just wipe it away. So I'm just gonna take a couple onto the forehead and onto the temples, but I'm really kind of keeping it condensed to the nose and the cheek area. All right, so that's as far as I'm gonna go for the faux freckles. I think you guys can see them on camera. I think they're so pretty. They look so natural. If you wanted to go in with like a darker brow pencil and kind of do some like variations of colors, you could totally do that as well. I just kind of press a little bit harder where I want like more of an intense freckle, and then I like ease up in the other areas. So then I'll just grab my sponge that I used to do my base makeup, and even though we've like touched over the areas with our fingers, I like to do this as well, just to kind of really make it look like it's coming from within rather than sitting on top. So after that, if you feel like you need to add a few more, go ahead and do that. That guy, by the way, is 100% real. That's one of my favorite little moles I have. And I think the key here is to just, you know, make sure there's a lot of variation. So I'm not only doing this on my cheek area, and I know that's like a look. Some people like the cutie, like cartoony look. I'm trying to make these look obviously as natural as possible. So I'm taking them onto the forehead, up onto the temples. I've got just a couple in like this area. I think that's how you make it look like as natural as possible, and then just having the variation in size and such. And then of course, you know, if I had like full coverage makeup on right now, this wouldn't look right, because if I had a full coverage base on that was super smooth and you couldn't see any of my imperfections, you wouldn't be able to see my freckles. My freckles would be covered up. So I think that's part of it, balancing like how you're wearing your makeup with your freckles that day as well. So if I had like a full face of makeup on, maybe I would want to go more for like the cartoonish faux freckle type of look. You know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna stop there because I can continue to do this all day. And then the last step, I just take a touch more of my bronzer. Again, very, very light. And I'm just gonna tap over everything. That's gonna kind of set it down without intensifying the color by going in and holy crap, if I went in and tried to cover each one of those with like a light brown, soft brown eyeshadow, that would take forever. So I'm just gonna take my bronzer once again and just tap over. I'm gonna just kind of tap over everything. Since I have a very minimal amount, it's not gonna make too much of a difference. You could do this with translucent setting powder if you wanted to as well. Just make sure that there's no color to that. And then I'm even adding just a few to my chest. I do have a lot of freckles on my chest area, but I'm just doing the same thing like up the neck. You guys can see all of these are real, but again, just bring it down. So if you are wearing like a V-neck like I am, you don't look like you have like a cluster of freckles on your face and nothing on your body. I mean, I'm sure that exists, but I just want everything to kind of look seamless. And then I'm also just gonna take a touch of my blush, add that. And then to top things off, I'm gonna take a touch of my highlight and re-intensify that. Okay, I moved my desk a little bit closer and I took my hair down and I hit my face with a little bit of my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Spray just to take down any of the powdery look from the bronzer, the blush, or the highlight, but this is what everything looks like. I think you guys can see it. I hope you guys can see it on camera. It's meant to look super natural, and again, I am in natural light here, but I just think this is so pretty. It makes me feel so fresh. I love it with this style makeup, very natural makeup. In fact, let me zoom you out a little bit so you guys can get the overall picture. So as you can see when I zoom out, it's barely even noticeable. It's so natural, and like I said, your friends probably won't even notice if they look at you and you have these on in the style that I did. It's just like a kiss of sun. It looks like you've been in the sun. You look fresh, and that's everything I'm about right now with makeup. So I hope this video was helpful to some of you. If you guys have any questions, as always, please let me know down below. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the world to me. Also follow me on Instagram. I'll leave that down here. I've been doing these short videos during the week, like these snap videos, and I'm having so much fun with it, and it's like a lot quicker for you guys to watch and a lot more accessible since it's on your Instagram. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. You'll also see George, my French Bulldog, and Stanley and Theo, my Persian and exotic short haired cat. So thanks again for watching. I hope this was helpful, educational, or somewhat entertaining, any or all of the above, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.